team ban. Radiant team, Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Our first series of the day, Burjui versus Hellbear Smashers. I'm still joined by Cap and Moxie, and on the big screen we are now also joined by BSJ. Brian, how are you doing this morning, and what do you think about this opening series?
I'm doing great. I'm looking forward to seeing the bit of a David versus Goliath here, even though both teams won their first series. I'm definitely curious to see how this one's going to play out.
Curious to see how this one's going to play out, and you don't have to wait any longer to see this draft get off to a start. And the Keeper of the Light, we saw that be the star of the show, not just yesterday, actually quite a few days already now, and making it through here, first pick material. What is so funny, Cap?
T-Governor just messaged me. Yo, Cap, that snow tournament is our chill tournament. Losses are fake. But no, he said they learned a lot. Extremely. Which is good.
And that is, that is Hellbear Smashers coach. Just
yeah. Sorry, just
yeah.
That's the coach of Hellbear Smashers. So they lost to Extremum, which is the only blot on their record so far, as they are an entirely new squad. And I'll allow that. I'll forgive them of one loss. Can't lose to Burjui.
No,
you cannot lose to Burjui. No matter if they do have a stand-in here of Cancel, who did play with them in the snow tournament as well, and did do very well. He went off on Batrider in the first game that they played together. A little bit quieter on the TA game, though that's kind of expected. TA in a losing game, a lot you're going to be able to do. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Cancel is going to be enough to carry Burjui against probably the toughest team in lower division.
Yep, they already banned out the BAP as well in preparation of that. Probably saw that performance. But yeah, the openings are on the board. We got a Mars Morphling. Brian, I'm sure you have some thoughts on that.
Yeah, Morphling on paper is really nice against Ember, but what we've kind of been seeing is that the Coddle Ember just gets this Ember off to such a momentum start. Like, he basically, it's all the free mana he wants. He can go for more aggressive items. We see like phase straight into Deso, and I'm just concerned with Morphling that it takes him a lot longer to ramp up. So in theory, it's really nice, but in practice, it seems like it's just a bit too slow paced.
Fair enough.
I think the other thing that kind of is nice is the fact that Uker is probably going to be on this Mars, and that is someone who likes to make space. He likes to be able to be very active and try to just, make sure that his core has enough room for him to move about the map freely. But, I mean, it'll really depend on what the other picks, what's the +1 to this Mars, the pressure on the map.
Let me just say, between Uker's interview and Cancel, now playing for this team, big fan. Burjui.
Yeah.
They won me over. Still very doubtful. I think for Hellbear Smashers, I'm going to be looking for an offlaner that is a little bit more self-sufficient, that gives a 4 position, a little bit more roaming power. Those Murana's Earth Spirit type heroes, Earth Spirit banned though, just to be able to get some stacking opportunities, perhaps in the triangle, make better use of the Ember Coddle. Similar to what we were seeing before, where we had like triple self-sufficient cores with 2 supports stacking up. I feel like that is actually really OP right now in the current patch. It would have been even more OP previously, but they did nerf the shared gold a little bit. Another thing I'm going to be looking for is Rasmus, who has been playing Enigma, which kind of fits that bill. But also he's been playing Monkey King off lane, which we saw from Seb. And I actually think that is right up Rasmus's alley, because that reminds me of Slardar, which was probably his most successful hero when he was on Team Secret.
Yeah. It reminds you of Slardar, but why then is not Slardar a hero you want to see him on?
I don't know how I feel about Slardar right now as a hero. I thought his shard, when it first was announced, I thought he was actually maybe going to come back into the meta and be pretty strong. But he hasn't really shown that strength. Brian, I don't know. What do you think about Slardar?
I think for whatever reason, over the course of these patches, it's become more and more important to have a wave clear on core heroes. And I think last patch, Slardar was just really nice because he complemented a lot of the popular carries. But this patch, I think if your offlaner doesn't rapidly clear waves, it's kind of just a shitty hero. Like, I don't really have a other reason to critique Slardar. Like, these coddle heroes, like, if you can't push in lanes against them, it doesn't really matter how nice your hero is for the game. It kind of just never gets the fights and farm that it needs to be successful.
Dire team pick.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that, man. Wave clear feels so important right now. I see some of these teams when they don't have any wave clear, it feels like they just can't make any moves, and inevitably they're just dealing with a smaller amount of space to be able to try and get the same amount of farm as the enemy. The only time I really see that works is if you've got some sort of hero that clears ancients really well, and they do a lot of ancients.
Well, with the Keeper of the Light in your team, you can imagine that Hellbear Smashers is going to try to follow in the footsteps of a couple of teams we saw yesterday, actually, to stacking all the camps.
5 seconds
And
remaining.
we saw Ember Spirit maxing out a shield yesterday to be able to take those stacks. Are you happy with just that, or would you like to see another core that can take stacks like that?
I think it's never a bad thing, right? You can have multiple people that can take advantage of it. I don't think it's necessarily bad if they stick with what they have currently. I'd like.
You don't need to force it, I don't think, but yeah, it would be nice.
I like the setup here with the Shadow Shaman and the Mars, though, here on Burjui, because it's going to make it very easy to get a lot of lockdown coming out here, with the Shadow Shaman being able to, you know, throw out the Hex or the Shackles and then followed up with the Spear, of course. Things pretty nice, but ooh.
I was not expecting that pick. I thought they were going to go with some melee disrupt hero, kind of like Clockwork, to just break this combo that Burjui has. It's really nice against the Shaman, but instead they go, is this a double? Is this a support? AA is really nice against Morphling, but
Yeah.
they need a stun. They need something like a Wraith King comes to mind here. Probably the most popular hero, CK. Really good AA pairs.
So we've got, I think, two different ways to go with this, right? It's either coddles the forward position to some sort of like bristleback type hero in the offlane that's going to be
5
spamming a lot.
seconds remaining.
And then AA's 5, which we need a stunning carry for. Or what about, Brian, 3 Ancient Apparition against Morphling? We've seen this experimented with in several different patches. People play mid AA or 3 AA. All right, never mind. Fine. Nobody's fun.
Yeah, once you know it's an AA5, the carry picks become quite predictable. It's pretty much Wraith King, Sven, and CK are like the 3 best. Point-click stuns that synergize with Cold Feet. It's not only nice in the lane, but it's also nice in the game because a lot of times these carries are ones that play the lane as well. So it gives AA kind of like an easy, you know, 3-pointer to shoot across the map whenever this hero is just casually farming, and it makes it really scary to farm against these heroes. So really good synergy pretty much throughout the entire stages of the game.
Yeah, they probably settled on the Wraith King as soon as they saw Mars Morphling, which is a pretty burst-oriented lineup. Wraith King's obviously very good against that. Ancient Apparition, great counter to Morphling, and always kind of nice against strength heroes. They ended up picking Undying into the Ancient Apparition, which is not bad at all. It's just, it's another advantage that the Ice Blast is going to have, limiting that heal. But Burjui is definitely focusing heavily on being able to win lanes with Shadow Shaman Mars, which I think is kind of a replacement. Shadow Shaman's kind of become the replacement to Lina in some ways, is sort of this 4 position that is a really good lane bully because he hits so hard. And then Undying's one of the best laning supports you could ask for. It was good last patch. This patch, the only thing that happens is like, I think it's every like 3 or 4 decays you need another Mango compared to what it was before. But he's still, I think, very viable. I am a big fan of any of these 5 positions that play kind of like frontliners. I think it was good last patch. I think it's good this patch.
I do want to point out that the Wraith King, even though it started out the season super successful, very high tier pick, the last week it's not done that well in Europe.
Seconds remaining.
I mean,
It's only won 2 out of the 6 games.
I mean, part of that too is the fact that Alliance refused to pick off of
Fair.
the Wraith King against the Miracle
That
Slark.
is fair. That is 2 lost
that
games
probably
right there.
didn't help. But Yeah, you know, we're seeing more of him. People are starting to figure him out too. People are starting to realize, okay, well, if they're going to get Wraith King, then we have to make sure that we get a hero that does especially well against it, or that we end the game earlier. Why we're seeing that happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think I like Lesh a lot for Burjui, and then I like probably like a wave clearing aura builder offlaner like Underlord for Hellbear Smashers. Those are kind of my 2 picks that come to mind for each team.
We've seen in so far in the European division, we've seen Rasmus play a Tide and a Venomancer so far.
Mm-hmm.
Would those fit in that role, Brian?
Tide does.
The only awkwardness about that is with the Veno is 2 ranged heroes in the off lane, and then with Tide you're into Undying Morph. Like Morph doesn't particularly mind laning against Tide, so I think it would be good for their game though. Like it'd be a hero that can be in front, but Wraith King will offer that later, so you don't necessarily need a hero like that. I think just a hero that enables the rotations early, because Wraith King isn't going to do that for like the first 15 minutes, and Ember kind of needs somewhere to go. And they was offlane Ember?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
I think it's
Mid Lina?
Yeah.
Or maybe
Ember.
still the AA
4 position
AA4?
Ember through 3 AA? Could that actually be it? 4 Ember, 3 AA?
Well, if you are going to have double range heroes, like, do you think this Morphling is mid or safe lane, BSJ? Let me ask you that.
I thought it was safe lane originally, but especially with this mid lane Lina pick, maybe that's what they're doing. They're like flexing it because Morphling's nice in lane against Ember, but man, is it rough against Lina. Maybe that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
I guess I was operating under the assumption that it was carry, but it does change a lot if it can potentially be mid.
Well, they got a little bit of the time to also analyze the plan of Hellbear Smashers, but
Well, you can see the bans coming out from Hellbear Smashers with this pickup. They banned away Monkey King and Lycan. Like those are safe lane carries that just kind of like run at you. They get on top of supports. They love just demolishing supports, especially that Lycan with the Necronomicon build. And it feels like that is the kind of hero that they need. Those Ursa, what other heroes kind of fit that bill?
PA's kind of nice here if they want to go that route. Pretty unkillable with a BKB, can jump all these backline supports.
And then
Might be too far heavy though.
If they do Morphling safe lane, I'm not sure what mids are really good here. Void Spirit, okay. Yeah, and it's on top of backline squishy heroes.
and it will be a mid Lina and still a 5 AA.
It is 3 Ember. Interesting.
Yeah.
Curious to see how that goes. I know Coddle enables Ember a lot, but I don't know if it enables it enough to be offlane, assuming they have probably practiced this before. I do like their draft a lot in terms of just the overall game plan coming out from Hellbear Smashers, so I definitely favor them, but I absolutely have no idea how Keeper of the Light Ember Spirit's going to do in the offlane.
All right. Thank you, Brian. We'll come back to you after the game. 10 heroes on the board, then Cap. We talked about Hellbear Smashers being the favorite coming into this series. Does the draft make a good case for Burjui, or are you still on board with Hellbear Smashers?
Literally, the only question mark is whether or not Coddle Ember Spirit is going to be fine. I'm presuming he's going to go like a Spirit Vessel type route since they're matched up against a Morphling. I always love Lina against Morphling. That threatening power makes it so the Morph doesn't feel comfortable sitting at low agility. And also, I know the Lina matchup in mid is going to go well because it's against Void Spirit.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, they've got the simplicity and ease of execution of a Wraith King. Add all that up, plus Hellbear Smashers being the better team, and I'm going to just stick with them. You know, you've got that one X variable that's like, is Ember offlane good? But Rasmus has been playing a lot of different weird offlaners.
Sure.
I'm okay with it.
How about you, Moxie? You want to make a case for Burjui, or a little bit too too scared to do so?
I don't want to say that I'm too scared to do so. I'm looking at their draft. You know, I like the fact that you've got Ukra Mars, but also like with the Void Spirit, and then like I don't know, like I look at some of the supports, and I'm just not convinced that they're going to get the momentum going that they need, or that they're going to get some of that momentum going, but it's going to start to fall off once Hellbear Smashers reaches those timings that. So I'm gonna have to go with the Tomato Boys.
Tomato Boys. Let's see the Ember Keeper of the Light lane will do for the Hellbear Smashers, because that seems to be the point where perhaps Burjui can get an advantage in. It is time to head over to a commentary duo of OD Pixel and Fogged for Game 1.
Thank you very much, Steve. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if this sort of pays off from Burjui opening up with a very early Morphling pick that's been responded to pretty well, it seems, Fogged here by Hellbear Smashers.
Yeah, does not seem like it's going to be the easiest game whatsoever. As always, we have a lovely pause to start our day.
See how things go underway between these two teams. So sort of overall, as the panel was talking about, it's going to be exciting to see what Rasmus is able to do on this this offlane Ember Spirit. Do you think it has its strengths here?
I think the hero is extremely flexible. And I can see you. I can see this happening a lot now in this type of patch, and we're already seeing a lot of transitions of people doing this, where they just they move the heroes to these roles, and we're just seeing Monkey King offlane and stuff like that. I think if you just have a lane that can suit it, if you can pressure, if you can make it work in the game, sure. And I think Ember is a strong enough hero to fit in most lineups. Same thing for Monkey King.
And sort of when it comes down to draft, what sort of reason is there for picking Morph as early as they did? Like what sort of move are you trying to make? Do you think they were just that worried of it being banned out because they have a potentially particularly strong Morph player?
What was the first two again that I'd seen? That we had,
For who? For Hellbears?
For Hellbear, yeah. It was.
They were Cottle and
The battle begins.
it was the Cottle Ember. Cottle Ember was the other.
It was Cottle Ember.
Yeah,
Okay.
Cottle Ember was the other. So I guess
you're
yeah.
Morphling versus Ember. I think
Yeah.
that says probably all of it, right? Yeah, I think people just really love having this matchup, and I think the hero is just so enabled because you literally are two heroes in the mid game, and you counter the Ember Spirit in a way. You literally can just chain him, and then he's screwed in a lot of these team fights. I think it's really strong almost every single time.
Lane set up stage as well. So it's going to be starting with Brunic and two fixes this Undying more top against the Cottle Ember. Seeing the mid lane, of course, cancel, standing in. Lena, and then down bottom, Killermancer, Charmin. Safe lane. So, I mean, any sort of concerns here in this laning phase for anyone?
I didn't want to say the Morphling, but after I saw the other day with the Coddle, I actually think the Morphling might suffer a little bit at least the first like 3 levels or so, maybe even up to level 4. I've seen these Coddles be applying an insane amount of pressure, even though it's so small. Like these little damage changes and things matter, right? Like 25 damage on Illuminate, the hero is just a little bit stronger. It all edges in. So I think that they can apply a decent amount of pressure onto this Morph with the both of them, because Rasmus, he's just going to be spamming, and you see he's got an Orb of Venom build, so it's not about really him. Sure, he'll get his farm with his calling, but he's just about pressure. He's just about slowing down the Morph.
Yeah, and sort of build-wise, would you imagine, as the panel mentioned, Rasmus will be the one to get this urn into Vessel kind of early on, or do you still need to go for sort of other items as the Ember to make sure that you're not left vulnerable this game?
I don't see why he wouldn't.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of these like Coddles and stuff like that actually getting the urn because they get it so early and they don't really want to. I've seen so many teams just not want to have the Vessel. I've seen them not upgrade it, but also not want to put it on their core heroes. But
sure, yeah.
I think he can. I think it definitely has its merits on the Ember. And I'm not really too sure what else would be like so valuable with him, with his team, right? Because he needs to act as an offlaner. Just get those offlane items. Then it tanks him up. I'd like him to be a little tankier because he is playing versus Shadow Shaman and Mars. These two heroes, if he gets pinned, if he gets stunned, it's very likely that he can just die. So just tanking up would be nice. So that works.
Bottom there. Ice and Tofu. Well, look. Killermancer. Far enough away. CS at the moment across the lanes. It's early beginnings, but definitely looking to be a little bit stronger here on Hellbears, especially this bottom lane. Uka, just the 1 CS out the first few waves.
Yeah.
Really struggling to get a look in. Even with having the point in the God's Rebuke, by the looks of it, just hasn't found the opportunity to get the CS liably with it.
I feel like all 3 lanes that Hellbear Smashers have can pose kill threat pretty easily, right? Like Wraith King AA can easily set up kills. The Coddle Ember is a little tougher because that can happen.
There we go.
Play their hand.
Yeah.
But they can threaten.
Just certainly be careful giving away this sort of action, though. It's that sort of setup with the decay, getting them a little lower. Going to leave them to the opportunity of Brunic bursting through the waveform.
Gotta be a little cautious whenever you are playing versus that Undying. I think he had 2 or 3. I think he actually even had the 3rd decay stack on him. So just, you're an agility hero. Even with strength heroes, you can't get the 3rd stack is usually the big kill that they can go for. He's got the Orb of Corrosion though, so at least he can pick that one up when he does go back to base. A little bit tankier, and he's gonna trade, but Undying doesn't mind going for these trades. He might die.
I was gonna say, Two-Face is gonna lose this trade. That was, I guess he sort of just accepted his fate there.
I think he was just resetting his mana pool, right? Because like, it looked like he accepted it because the decay stacks were wearing off and he kept committing. So weird, but dude, I love Shadow Shaman last night. I'm sorry, I just need to. Every time I'm watching this hero, just play. Oh, played it last night too. This hero feels so damn good in every game.
Well, what is it that makes it feel so strong? I mean, what, just it's sort of all stages of the game, the laning, like where you're having the most fun when you're playing Shaman?
I feel like it's actually just at all stages now.
Yeah.
He's always been a really popular hero just because you have an instant disable, you have tower threat, but you also just have this. I feel like there's so many items now that these neutral items that benefit him so much, these cast range and all that. You're gonna get to a point where these shamans they shackle you from this crazy long range. They might have a shard, so it does crazy damage too. He feels really good at all stages. Feels like he does everything. Goofy.
Mid.
We'll reset.
Stormer. Cancel 20 for 9 against the 14 for 2. Still continuing to be a good strong lane here for the Lino. I guess this is expected, right? Now Lino against any sort of melee hero, even if you avoid Spirit with a nuke, you're still going to struggle stepping in. These light strike arrays are just continuously laid down upon you. And of course, Stormer with the 3 points, the Dragon Slave, it's a lot of damage that Can struggles to deal with. Is going to find himself a lovely rune though. Yes,
very nice.
So that's definitely going to help Cancel big time stick around in this lane.
He even gives a bottle charge to his lovely Shadow Shaman to continue being able to pressure. I love that. Then I see that Rasmus did go for a more early game start here. As we saw the Morphling started to catch up. He actually buys a raindrop, he buys a stick, so he can actually pose more pressure into the... I mean, they're staying very low up here.
I mean, they are. They've got to be careful of Rasmus coming in with another slight chains.
He should be able to get this.
Looks like he will. Illuminate. It's going to have the extra bit of burst. And our Two-Fix just not being quite careful enough up here. It's a couple of times now where these two have had no struggles taking him out.
I love Coddle. That too. You know, Shadow Shaman, Coddle's another one of those. It's a little different though, because you're not this, controlling, pushing beast. It's like Crystal Maiden on crack, right? You're giving your teammates mana and you're moving them all over the place. It's like the best. Feels like one of the best 5 or 4s. You can make it work too. I'm really liking how Dota actually is right now, with how much openness I feel like you have to be able to play all these different heroes that we saw kind of just disappear for a long time.
Bottom. Very tough for really Uka and Killamount to make a move on, and still just fighting so much out of this lane. His farm not getting slowed down whatsoever. 30 for 10.
I'm actually a fan of his casual chainmail. He's building to the phase boots anyway, but on the Wraith King, as we always mention, your biggest weakness is that low armor early, and these two heroes they pack a punch he's against, so that's cool.
Oh, for sure, yeah, especially as you say, against one of the highest right-click support in the game, and a hero throwing out physical, getting that. But it's going to make already in a lane where you are ahead. Pretty much eliminates any chance of Burjui ever really being able to make a play on him, unless they get some rotation in from Cancel. I mean, Cancel, how's he doing? He's closing in on the 6, but about a half a level behind that of Stormer. Stronger lane here.
One thing start to kick off. Like we see these 3 top net worths really leading for Hellbear Smashers, and they have great ways to actually kill Cancel, right? Like he starts moving around. There is this Ember Spirit, which is always just going to be kind of just a counter in every single situation. And we see immediately, pointing out the Urn, of course, going to be the build that Spirit Vessel is going to be rushed up. So he's going to be constantly looking to fight, as I hope to see Rasmus do. Just have this Coddle port him around and just literally be at every single engagement as. And we do see these stacks, of course, these Coddles, been setting them up a little bit.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Again, just struggling to get anywhere close now to the Ember. As now the levels are there, the The uptime of the combo is very, very high.
And I mean, Undying is very, very squishy too with his armor. So every time he gets slighted, it hurts a lot. Stormstormer actually connects the stun as the shackles were casting. That's a level 2 shackle too. That could have been a kill with the Void Spirit.
I mean, for Cancel, it's got the 6. I mean, what lane are you looking to go towards? Like, where can you get something done, do you think? Are you looking at this top lane?
He can do it on either. If he it all depends on how he TPs and sees the positioning of the lane. Because we've seen these Void Spirits always set up for kills.
2 fix. He's in trouble here. Slight change would do it. Just the slight
Cancel,
alone. See if he's able to get anything with the counter play. He's got the Remnant down onto Rasmus. And there we have it. Nice to make that response. Turn.
Immediately, mid gonna get shoved in by the Lina up to the tower.
Dire's middle tower is under
Bottom lane. Find the AA, but Tofu is going to be able to get his spells out onto Killermancer. Killermancer did want to try and TP, but the cold feet was down. Tofu's actually going to be able to get away. Oh, Uka didn't have enough damage to finish him off. Killermancer's still on the run, but Ace and the Skeletons, they're chasing, and the crit through the trees there, as there's no escape for the Shaman.
They can even maybe go on Uka down here when Ace gets closer. Set up for a stun and a full feet potentially, but he'll back away. Put the pressure on mid. Rasmus comes over. He gets a slight chain.
Look how much damage he's done. As soon as Cancel's gone, Stormstormer just fully on with the pressure. And 7.5 minutes in, and the tier 1 tower's nearly been taken down completely.
Rasmus comes in and pokes it once or twice too for an Orb of Corrosion. And that's always the fear about these rotations from the Void Spirit when you're playing versus something like Lina. Lina can choose TP, counter gank, or just sit there and pressure the lane. And Rasmus is still looking to actually set up on cancel.
So, the 8-minute room, but it's going to end up being up top. So, fortunate with that. Stormer's going to have that secured for himself. Cancel, be a little careful. Stormer a little low on the mana. Cancel does have the backup of both of his supports here, in case Hellbear Smasher's going for a harder push to push off this tower. Stormer is trying. In fact, chains on the Killermancer. Killermancer, he gets the shackles off. One slight, though, off the back of this would do it, as there's a soul rip heal, and there we have it. Rasmus takes down another. At the same time, Ace and Tofu, they pressured in behind the tier 1 tower bottom and kill off Uka. So that's 6-2. Okay, lead here for Hellbear Smashers. These 3 cores really starting to get the ball rolling.
What level do we have on our AA as well? Since Tofu has pretty much just sat in the lane. He's going to have an early level 6 coming out too. Look at both of the supports. Level 5.5 on the 2 of them there for Hellbear Smashers. This is looking like a very ideal setup for themselves, as this AA pick is pretty brutal this game versus the Mars, versus the Morphling, of course, in particular. Yeah, this is looking really good for them right now as they're setting up. And oh, interesting from Gilger, the 2 fluffy hats on the Coddle.
All right.
I'm seeing a lot of 5 positions grab it. I saw No Tail grabbing it almost every game as well.
They seem to be quite a bit of value.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
I'm still curious about why though. It's expensive. It's
how
pretty.
Much?
250 for 125 HP or so as Gilger.
He's on the run. I mean, I've got to say it.
There's still a lot. Oh,
the fluffy hats nearly saved
almost,
him.
Yeah.
it nearly was enough HP.
Can't believe it's I can't believe there's an item called Fluffy Hat in my Dota. I still can't get over some of these names.
Never refuse gold given.
I mean, they're going to be onto it with the merch, right? Once the events start coming around again, I want to buy a real life Fluffy Hat.
That is very true. I mean, I want an Orb of Corrosion.
What are you going to do with Orb of Corrosion?
I guess we'll find out. Midas Morphling. Runic,
all right.
Okay.
I mean, I'm down. He's been watching mid 1 play. He said he can do it on Jug, he can do it on Drow. I'm going to do it on more. Midas spots. Let's go. Dude, he's going to go Midas spots.
I mean, they'll lose pretty quickly if he does, but, you know, he'll get the Midas.
No, he knows. He's channeling his inner mid 1. I mean, the way, Runic. Midas spots.
I can't say anything against it anymore now. They made it work. I don't know.
What do you think in that series was more surprising to you that it worked? The Midas spots on the Jug or on the Drow?
On the Drow, for sure. On the Jug, it seems fine. It's like you benefit so much from that crazy move speed with your blade flare. Top, big fight.
They're going to try and come in to hold the defense. 4 TPs from Burjui. They get the arena down onto Ace. Ace does have Reincarnate, so he's ready to go for a Sigma. This is a massive Ice Blast down onto the 3 of them. They're going to get nuked down on Uka. Laguna out to a 2-fix. They're just diving in. The Smashers cancels, trying to run. Killermans is hiding in the trees. The Remnants cleaning it out as Killermans has been found. Ray Fire Blast remains, finishes off the job. Cancel. He's trying to hide. He's got no steps for 20 seconds. Dissimulate up in 1. He'll be able to jump over to the side, but they can see him. They've found him. He's trying to run, but Stormstormer connects the Light Strike array. Burjui, they try to defend that top tier 1 tower, but the defense couldn't have gone any worse.
Uh-oh. And I think that's probably going to be what we see for a very long time in this game, as the Morphling, he's not going to want to turn up to any of these fights versus AA versus what's likely to be a very early Spirit Vessel too. And I think this is gonna turn for the worst real quick here. 6k gold advantage. They're already taking over enemy jungle. Radiance queued up. Boots of Travel on the Lina. And this, I love, the Boots of Travel on Lina, because now you can just easily follow the Morphling. And that's the counter. That's the way to apply that pressure.
Be very hard for Runic to find lanes to really show him farming.
Yeah, because they can. The thing is, they can recall as well, right? So if Lina goes top or something, if Morphling tries to dodge her, they can recall, reposition. I can't see it getting much easier for Runic, because Hellbear Smasher
Rasmus
really taking over here.
And they can set this up very nicely each and every time. The Ice Blast. I mean, you're looking at the lineup, and you've got at least 3 heroes with sort of solid stuns, roots, to allow Tofu to hit the ult every single time.
Just constant threat, no matter where they're kind of standing. They even have to stand. Look how close they have to protect cancel even at the tier 2 mid because of Rasmus's light chains. He's gonna get recalled down bottom, save his TP. I think he also has a remnant down in the mid lane in case something does happen. I believe that's, yeah. So he is prepared in case there is something that kicks off. And yeah, this is so much pressure on the map, really, as it's a Wraith King who's now nearly got the relic done too. He actually does have the relic done. Okay.
Now, quite the ridiculous time here for Ace.
Yep.
Sides of seeing Burjui. Well, it wasn't the treads, of course, for Runic. Oh no, so it wasn't the bots. Did just get the treads. Quite going full mid on which, I mean, yeah, maybe that's a mistake. You know, but like in this sort of game, you're down, you go the full greed build, as this is definitely a very hard one.
Can they catch Rasmus here? They've got the hacks, they commit the wards even to make sure they get this kill, but they better get it.
Time on the river. Find a support. They've also got the push starting to come in. Top lane. The Uka hanging around. It does have arena.
I think the only way that they can, I think they have to look for just these constant pickups right now on the side of Burjui, and they just need to play around their area control. Watch Stormstormer set up, cancel.
Perfect timing.
Connect. Ooh.
Perfect timing with the Yule's combo.
Almost catching the Rasta too. So yeah, I think the only way that they really want to look to fight right now is let this Morphling try to get this farm up, and then use the Shadow Shaman, the Undying, and the Mars. Get that trio of ultis down where it's just the summons, it's the wards, it's the actual Mars ult down, and that's the way you probably can look to fight. But besides that, I actually don't want to see them fight. They're way too behind. They have to just set up on the towers and try to catch people a little out of position with the Mars in particular. But this is speeding up too fast. Coddle's now ahead of the Void Spirit, ahead of that mid solo of the opposing squad now too, with his fluffy hats.
He's tanky.
He's tanky.
He's not an easy one to kill. Chewy, what's the Runic thing over there to farm this bottom lane, but he's rather alone. Show Ace top, full Radiance out on the Wraith King. And they're looking to maybe make a move onto him. I mean, Killermancer and Uka backed up by Atufix. They've got the 3 of them looking towards Ace. They've got to be able to do it twice. Yeah, they're already sort of
Got a radius.
umming and ahhing about this. It's not an easy move to make to try and take down Ace.
You might all die even too. Like if the Wraith King doesn't kill out the skeletons will probably kill the Shadow Shaman with the Radiance in part. They're actually making the move themselves, Hellbear Smashers, bringing the AA up top. Ace.
I mean, he's going
Pretty
in
far
aggressive.
up now.
He is pretty deep. We'll see if the rest of the team's going to have time to get it to back him up. As Burjui bringing in the numbers. Stormstorm was able to bots in from the side. Ace actually still alive. They're not even able to fully commit on him to take him down the once. I mean, there was 5 heroes there, but I guess they sort of panicked. They were scared. They didn't even want to hang around any longer than they wanted to. They didn't even try and finish him the first time.
I mean, I kind of think that they all would have died if they did.
I guess, yeah. Yeah.
It was I think as soon as they see like the AA blast like flying over, they're like, oh shit, like this is not a good idea. Radiance Burn is taking us slow. If like a slight chain catches 1 or 2, those 2 heroes are dead. I think it was probably the right move for them. They're pretty limited right now on their moves. They got to be a little quicker too if they want to do that. If they get done it 5 seconds faster, then maybe. But
because they pretty much had the whole team. You know, if they're not able to make that move and do anything whilst the whole squad's around, it's not really going to get any easier. For the bottom lane, Stormer steps up and excellently done there, coming out from the smoke and catching him just on the range of it. So Runic was not prepared for that to come straight out of the fog.
Now they're getting collapsed on too. Shadow Shaman near dead.
The arena is down from Uka. Going to be any follow-up though. Stormstormer turns with the Yule's Light Strike onto Uka and Cancel trying to finish off Stormstormer, but Stormstormer's off to the side and he's fine. He's out of there.
Oh boy.
More deaths on Burjui as Atufix is the last one left alive. They'll have no trouble cleaning him off as well as it's a triple kill for Ace. 18 minutes in, 18-4, 13k lead. This one's looking to be a little bit of a stomp.
This one is pretty over indeed. Poor Uker, he gets his ult down, gets Yules, can't even throw his spear out because he runs out of mana afterwards. Disaster everywhere for the side of Hellbear Smashers. I mean, I love this, the way they set up their lanes. Like, it's very obvious, it's very standard way that you would set up your lanes with their hero. It's exactly what they needed to do this game. You know, that first pick Morphling, definitely super countered, and I don't think we'll be seeing that one again, but great preparation and great lane setup from Hellbear Smashers.
Shift for the Smashers.
Yeah, I think this has just been such a crisp game for them. Like I don't know what mistakes they've really made. It's just been clean execution, and Burjui they haven't really been able to do much of anything. I feel like they fell behind after the laning phase, and it's been stopped at that point. And bottom now.
Bottom. Stormstormer. He's getting gone on, but he's still able to keep his cool set up onto Runic. Mass TP's coming in as Runic tries for the tower, but Stormstorm's even able to get the deny. Runic, he's trying for the TP out. They got anything to stop it? They don't. So they will manage to get most of them out of it. Atufix will still be found, though, by the chase from Ace. In with the Ray Fire Blast.
This is bullying.
It's definitely getting rough.
That tower deny. One of those, that's just like, you're getting nothing.
Wounds.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing for you. As the recall's coming in, Gilger setting up a gank behind the enemy lines.
Runic. Going to turn into the Ember, use the chains against them. The arena is down. Along with the boards, they're going to have a lot of damage onto Stormstormer, but you're right, he's ready for a second round, and Runic, he's dead. Rasmus finishes him off. Here comes Stormstormer back with his second life. Laguna out to Uka. As Killermancer, he'll make it out of here. Cancel. He's going to be chased, though. Ace and Rasmus, they're going to have some further catch in a second. Ace is in. Cancel taken out again. 22 for 4. It is a rough one. It is a rough one. It is one of those games where maybe Burjui can attribute some of it to the bit of a peculiar way of drafting with this early morph reveal, as you know, Hellbear Smashers have definitely shown, you can't pick this hero early against us. We will make sure that it has a very difficult game.
And I mean, maybe they did overlook just how good the Coddle is in particular too, versus just how much pressure he can actually apply in the laning phase.
Yes.
And he enables the hero that he's with to apply the pressure too. I think this is something they probably overlooked a bit here. It's a complete disaster. I'm surprised they haven't GG'd out, honestly. There's no chance for...
Yeah, I mean, I don't quite know the exact win rates, but it does seem like this hero just wins every game, especially when it's these teams that are picking it first because they have a keep with the light play, you know, someone who knows exactly how to just really push the limits of this hero and what it can offer for you.
Looks like they're going to set up for maybe one more fight here, but no, they actually don't even have the mana. Ace is just
goodbye, Shaman.
Points. Now Uker, they're trying to keep the Tombstone alive, but now they're going to lose heroes. It's like hits on the cancel.
Oh, it's getting messy. It's getting messy, ladies and gentlemen. It is.
Well, Rasmus is gonna. Is he want him? He's gonna go for this light chain.
Yeah, he's gonna keep going. He's gonna keep going.
He gets him.
He's just gonna watch from the side. He's even gonna let Ace have it. Ace is in. It's the kill. They're playing on, but
they're playing on.
I can't imagine for how much longer. This one's gonna, if it hasn't already, be quite painful here for Burjui.
So JJ gave me this stat. Coddle is 56-46 with a 54.9 win rate in 7.28. Pretty good.
Oh, that's just across. Is that, what was that, pro games or are you talking pubs?
That doesn't sound like pubs.
Oh, that was the number of games. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
That's lower
sorry,
than I thought.
I'll read it again. 56
wins. Okay, and that's the win-loss. Yeah. That's surprising. I guess that's across
less
all the
than I thought it would be.
Maybe the win rate varies a lot regarding on the region. Maybe some you know.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I would have thought it would be higher.
I don't know how popular. I haven't gotten a chance to look at every other region as much as I'd like to. So I don't know how some regions just start copying, right? So that usually starts tanking heroes if it's super popular in one region and then everyone's playing it. But okay, that's interesting. Okay, we're seeing the smoke up. So they've got they've got everything available.
This is the GG smoke. We've seen this many times in games that are stomped. You go for one final move. One final hurrah.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
That's not how you start it.
That's not how they wanted to start it at all. Azuka's dead. Absolute fix. He's going to be taken out as well. Killermancer. Oh, he's trying to get out. Bless him. He's not going to be able to do so. And Ace, he's in. He's looking for check cancel. He's looking for Runic.
Yeah, Runic doesn't even have his Manta yet. Oh my, it's 23 minutes. Can't even dispel the damn Vessel. Look at this poor guy.
Yeah, he's just having to run each and every time. There's a blast coming over. Cancel will dodge it, but he won't dodge everything else. Out of the Yules he comes and straight into his death. 34, 28k, 23 minutes in. We have seen quite a few stomps here in the league, especially in sort of the lower division where you do have this big break between sort of skill and some of these teams. This is probably the biggest. In terms of just straight numbers, it's pretty hefty.
It is, absolutely. But also, like, Burjui, they don't have their mid player, right? So
they don't.
We've seen stuff like that have massive effect on these teams.
No, for sure. Yeah. The GG is called, and as you say, yeah, worth remembering that they did have users down. Of course, Council, you know, nothing against Council, but as you say, just the fact that it's not the normal roster, you're going to definitely struggle more than if you were with the 5-man that you practice with. There we have the Smashers. Definitely not a too difficult one for them at all, as it can't really start the series in a better fashion for Hellbear Smashers there with a very easy game 1 win for them.
Yeah, that was...
Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team pick. Dire team pick. League's assassin. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Earth spirit.
Well, in combination with a lot of other people, I would imagine, I'm hoping for a little bit more of a competitive game in the second game of this lower division series between Hellbear Smashers and Burjui. I'm joined by Brian on the big screen. I've got Cap and Moxie with me as well, and we are in the draft for game number 2, where game number 1 was very dominant in favor of Hellbear Smashers. If you were to point at the draft, Brian, the Morphling second pick might have been a little bit of their downfall. What are you hoping for seeing in this game so far? Second game.
What I'm seeing a lot of teams mess up so far in these drafts is that they go for these 1-to-1 counters, but then all the lanes just get shoved into their towers. And like Morphling early, he doesn't deal with lanes all that well. And it's not that you can't pick these heroes that don't deal with lanes all that well, but you have to have as much lane push as the other team. Otherwise, what we saw in the clip that I showed you guys is just every game. It's like all 3 lanes are shoved into your tower. You're constantly responding to what the opponent's doing, and you just get outmanned, out-farmed. And like what happened was they have Coddle Ember. Like that alone is a ton of wave clear. And then they get the Lina Wraith King, 2 cores that also push the lanes. And then you have Void Spirit Morphling, 2 heroes that don't shove the lane as well as the counterparts in their lanes. So I just want to see less focus on 1-to-1 counters, more focus on lane shove.
All right. Well, I would add in the fact that they also drafted this Morphling as a gotcha to the Ember Spirit, and their lineup ended up being basically a single core Morphling. That second pick. So when Hellbear Smashers go ahead and spend the rest of their draft countering Morphling, doesn't look very good as the only carry. So, yeah, I got to agree with Brian, and that's probably a little bit of concern for him and for me for the Hellbear Smashers opening of Nyx Assassin Witch Doctor. I agree with Kyle, and I'm not sure if Brian, you agree with Kyle as well, in that I'm not a big fan of the double supported double core opening. I like to have a nice mix, and neither one of these supports has great wave clear.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think with supports, as long as there's no clear-cut core picks against the supports, then they're fine. I don't hate dual opening with supports like in this case. You do know it as the 2 supports, but they're both strong laners, and they're both good against kind of different things. Nyx is a good scout pick-off hero, while Witch Doctor's more of like a sustained follow-up hero. I don't have like a core that I immediately want to pick against these. With that in mind, that means to me that the support pick isn't super fragile or vulnerable to certain weaknesses.
Dire team ban.
I think what I'd like to see coming out here from Burjui is just more some sort of like aggression with like the mid lane. I like the Earth Spirit pickup. I think that's really nice because it's going to put pressure on other lanes, hopefully, you know. But also, like, I feel like Runic has never had a chance to get his foot in the door. I feel like a lot of the times that the lanes just start going really poorly, and then, you know, he can't even do the thing where you rotate to the top lane and you take that tier 1. He's just really been stuck in that safe lane, and I feel like maybe if they pick something that's going to be very active, I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I mean, laning was certainly a problem. They picked up an Undying, and they weren't really able to win that lane. Only time they actually got a kill, I think, was Cancel rotated in. Maybe they trade support for support at some point, but I just...
Well, I'm assuming that it's going to be a kill monster on the Earth Spirit. I'm hoping that they are going to give Uker a hero that can do okay by himself to allow that aggression from Killomancer, from the Earth Spirit to actually come out, because I think we all kind of agree that they are a little bit outclassed here too in terms of just players. And what is the best way to do? What is the best thing to do when you know that? It's not sit back and farm. It is go out there and get an advantage on at least one of the lanes. You know, make sure that one lane is very, very secure. And Disruptor picked up by Burjui. Everybody knows Disruptor, good for when you're playing from ahead. So if they can make their mark on their safe lane, maybe have Earth Spirit start off there, that could be a start. I'm saying that hesitantly because I'm not entirely convinced.
I mean, I'll just speak up. As a 5-position player, I quite like Disruptor right now. I can't really see why this hero isn't picked a little bit more. Just maybe there are supports that are slightly better when it comes to laning phase. I was going to say Invoker. Slow down, Misery. Give me a moment here. I was going to say I want to see the Stormer Invoker because I think it's a good answer to Wraith King on multiple occasions, right? They've already got Nyx Assassin mana burn. You throw in a Quaswex Invoker in there. You've got full mana burn coverage. That Wraith King's going to have a hard time until he gets the shard. On top of that, really good kiting mechanisms against Wraith King through Cold Snap, Ice Wall, and Tornado, and all the.
You know what Disruptor doesn't do, Cap?
What doesn't he do, Brian?
He doesn't push waves, Cap. That's why a lot of people aren't picking him in the 5 position. Yeah, Thunderstrike's okay, but if you compare him to like Coddle, even Witch Doctor, whose cask is really good at doing it. Now, this is a hero that does push waves. Pangolier used to be pretty bad against Invoker, but ever since they gave him his Ag Shard, it allows you to still get your roll off even when you're locked down by these continuous disables, such as the Cold Snap. So I do like this hero a lot more against Invoker than I used to, but I have to imagine against Nyx, he's going to struggle a little bit. A reliably carapaceable spell coming out from the Swashbuckle. So I don't necessarily like their lane setup so far. I think Disruptor Wraith King is relatively weak, and Earth Spirit Pango is relatively weak as well. And I think if Pango's mid, it'll also suffer a bit against the Invoker.
This is an Uker specialty, though. This is like supposed to be his hero, his signature. So maybe, you know, he's just feeling confident enough, or perhaps they just want to give him something that's a comfort hero. So that will allow the Earth Spirit to perhaps roam around a bit more?
Yeah.
Maybe he like blanked out for the last hour. So that's why he does have confidence.
Yeah.
You know, because I wouldn't have any confidence after that game one, but
Savage.
good for him. Brian also doesn't know how I use static. It's fair. He's going to say Disruptor doesn't have any wave.
That's fair.
clear.
That is a pretty decent wave clear. That would probably kill an entire creep wave.
Yeah, it's every 70 seconds. No problem.
Also, with the shard, you can now steal the kills, the creep waves from Pangos as well, or Earth Spirit rolling in. That's really good. You put it in your teammate. The moment they come in contact with creeps, you know.
Yes.
Stealing the assets, definitely.
I tried that chart.
Shard.
Not impressed. Let me just say, not impressed with that. Maybe when you get level 20, you get the extra. If you get that talent, the Thunderstrike charges, and then you can get it that late. Like maybe it's good. It's interesting they picked Tidehunter. I think that's more of like an overall game set, overall game where they're like, okay, we like Tidehunter versus Wraith King. When it comes to specifically team fights, Disruptor and Pangolier both offer disables that can get Tidehunter killed, right? Normally he likes frontlining because he's like, you can't go on me because I'll just cleanse off a disable and get off Ravage anyway. Disruptor and Pango both offer AoE disables that you can't actually get rid of. That being said, I think Hellbear Smashers are really just looking for a hero that's going to lane fine against Wraith King and also is just a general team fight like Aura builder that BSA was talking about from last game.
We heard Moxie mentioned the Ace Ricky game that they had at the first game of the league. That was really, really good. Can Ricky fit into this draft still or no?
10 seconds.
Brian.
remaining.
I think they need a hero to push buildings like in the game for them. So I don't necessarily love Alacrity Ricky. There's a lot of carries that I would prefer to have, such as the troll that they already did ban out. Their stuns on Burjui so far are relatively lackluster. I would prefer something like a Juggernaut, just some building hitter that is relatively survivable against what we see. Maybe a Midas Boots of Travel Jug. You never know.
10 seconds remaining.
There's Lycan still out there as well when you want a real building hitter. I always kind of like that against Wraith King because another source of mana burn, but then you can also just the Wraith King kill all his allies.
What about Disruptor glimpsing you back, right?
Kinetic field is actually the most annoying thing, I think, for Disruptor. Because, like, offensively, you glimpse back the Lycan, but all his minions just gobble you up anyway. Kinetic field can be a little bit more powerful as, like, an AoE control device against, but I'd still be okay with it. What else is left?
That is what Burjui is wondering at the moment as well, because they are looking for a ban. Still got 30 seconds in their bonus time. What does Burjui themselves need? Terrorblade for Hellbear Smashers. No, they ban out the Ricky in the end still. The overall last pick will go to Burjui. I guess we're looking for cancel hero still.
Dire team pick.
Here it is. It's the Bloodseeker.
Oh, the 1-to-1 counter to Pangolier, I guess is what they're going for. Really strong laner. Not necessarily the hard one position that we're used to seeing, but he does scale very well with just some damage items. Like Maelstrom fits so well into his kit with the spell amp and the attack speed coming out from Blood Rage. Most notably, I'm a bit concerned about the 1-to-1 matchup to the Wraith King, though. I guess they're confident that, like Cap said, the Invoker crowd control during fights, as well as the Tide Anchor Smash, will be enough to reduce the impact of Wraith King super early. But as this game goes on, when Wraith King gets these damage items in BKB, I think he'll scale better. So Hellbear Smashers is much more on a timer for me this time around, but I still like their draft a lot.
I wonder how the new Shard feels with Pango against Bloodseeker. You got Magic Immune, but I'm pretty sure if you get Rupture, I'm just thinking, can he roll up and protect himself? You're Magic Immune, but you're still going to get Rupture damage. And I think Bloodseeker could intentionally hit you and force you to roll away, therefore taking Rupture damage. I'd love to see that. I think that'd be hilarious.
We got the Cancel Mars, by the way, coming out. A little bit more sturdy compared to his previous Void Spirit. Final thoughts on the draft, Brian?
I like Burjui's chances a lot more this game than I did the previous one. I think Hellbear Smashers is the better team, but I think we'll see a much closer game this time around.
All right, that's all that I asked for. Cap, what do you think?
I'm not a big fan of the Mars, mostly because Mars naturally has the mana problems, and you put him against Nyx Assassin as well as now Quasfix Invoker. He ever gets Tornado DMP'd before he gets initiation off, then his impact is just kind of gone. He's not going to be able to do a lot. So I will agree with Brian. I think I like their lineup more than last time, but I still think they're get smashed.
All right, Moxie, how about you?
I mean, the hype play-by-play caster in me is very excited because we're going to get to see the Thunderdome, get the Mars Coliseum Arena, you get, the Disruptor Ultimate, but at the end of the day, it's like Cap says, like, I'm concerned that this Mars is not going to be able to get in there fast enough. I'm very concerned about, those tornadoes coming through and whatnot. And I also just think the way that Hellbear Smashers have been playing, they play so fast. I don't think they're going to be able to get enough time to get that Wraith King online to be the raid boss that they need.
All right, let's find out if Burjui can make a dent in Hellbear Smasher's armor off, or if it's just going to be a quick 2-0 from the Smasher side. Let's find out with our commentary duo of ODPixel and Fog.
Thank you very much, Sheev. Yes, so Fog, we've heard from the panel that they're a little bit more hopeful this game for the draft of Burjui. Would you sort of agree, or do you think that there's every reason to believe that this game might end up being as one-sided as game one would?
Definitely a bit worried. Curious to see how Cancel does, in particular on Mars. I've not seen him hero too much. And he's playing versus Stormstormer's most played hero. This is Stormstormer on his Invoker. And immediately he skills Exort. I know Panel's talking about like the Tornado EMP. Stormstormer, almost every game I've ever seen him play, he does the same Invoker build. He gets 4 points Quas, 4 points Exort, gets the double Forge Spirits. He actually does not go the Quas Flex ever that I've seen. And I just was confirming that. I went through his profile. I went through his last 6 games. He went Exort.
Someone called that dog. My thanks will come later when you least expect that.
So, I mean, we'll see how it works. He has a lot of global gank potential. I always like Exort when you have Nyx Assassin. I think you can set up a lot of kills. And I think that's why they went for Cancel's Mars. It's because it's that beefy, tanky kind of guy that isn't going to be so susceptible to the Nyx as well. But I think they're going to be really limited in making their moves. I think they're just completely cooldown reliant now. Putting this Mars mid, he has to have Arena in order to make good rotations, or he has to just have a really, really good start in the game.
The battle begins.
Seeing, and in terms of sort of these side lane setups, sort of last game, they really did start to struggle quite early on. in the laning phase. Have they managed to set themselves up for a bit of an easier start this time?
Maybe a bit of an easier one, but I think that they can still get pretty rough. I feel like bottom lane is very strong. I love Bloodseeker versus Pango in the game and in the lane. You just sustain, and you can set up kills pretty easily because you're so speedy when the other lanes get low. I think this bottom lane should be a win for Hellbear Smashers. I think top the Wraith King and the Destructor can apply some pressure. Not onto the Tide, but they can at least farm, and they can, you know, maybe if Gilger steps out of position, they could set up for him. I feel like they should be able to get farm up there on Runic.
Yeah,
Gilgar. We'll get a courier at least, so that's gonna hurt.
And on sort of that top lane, if Runic is able to get farm and they are able to sort of hold this off and push it late, do you sort of see Burjui having the much of an edge sort of in the later game, or is that not necessarily the case?
I think they covered their bases on the side of Hellbear Smashers. I think they picked themselves this really strong draft that transitions at all stages, and at some point, like let's say if we do get later on, they're gonna have the combo, right? Like the Ravage and the Cataclysm happen. So I have to always just give them a bit of an edge because of that, even into a Wraith King.
Their team fight. I mean, Burjui definitely have comparable team fight, as Mark was saying, with the Mars and Disruptor in the mid game, that they are going to have this good setup to go. Question is, you know, they're sort of more in on the control elements rather than just straight raw damage come out from the burst of Hellbear Smash.
It all depends on how the fights do start, right? Like, as if Hellbear Smashers are the ones that start really dictating the pace, which you can kind of imagine they will, because the Nyx Assassin is going to start hunting, they're going to start pressuring these lanes. You know, they're going to start losing heroes before the fight starts. If Burjui, on the other hand, they're the ones who start the fight with a glimpse onto the Tide, with the static field. You know, they're going to start the fight number advantage. Runic, they actually skill Gush up top to look for the kill here.
It's taking a lot of damage here. Quick little glimpse. Gets Rasmus away from Runic. Showing, you know, the strong as Wraith King is, to be a little careful with the relatively low armor early on.
I mean, Tidehunter actually just owns him. Just being able to skill the Gush in this lane is really putting on that pressure. And Atufe, he's got no mana, and his courier had died, so he actually has to wait for this courier all the way to come back, bring him any type of extra regen to harass. So honestly, Wraith King's actually going to get like no farm up here now because of this, because that courier died, and they're just lacking. They're lacking regen. Can't actually hold themselves in place now.
Yeah, which is very fine. It's level 1. I mean, that's not going to do much at all. So, very tough times for Runic. Come through. Bottom, Ace 14 for 3, again for 2. Okay, definitely finding quite a solid amount from lane. Quite being able to slow down a go pretty contested. Mid lane, we're seeing Cancel have a bit of an edge here. I guess this is sort of expected, you know, as the Mars early on with the Imperial nukes, he's just going to be able to set up the wave a little easier.
Yeah, the base damage on Invoker. It's like now he's got the level 2 Exort. Once he gets level 3 Exort, it's going to be much easier for him. But I've seen Cancel, I think that's the second Forge Spirit I want to say that he got kills onto. So just have to be a little careful on Stormstormer for those. And this Exort Invoker, it does pose threats to side lanes a bit too. So I think that's why they're being a little hesitant. Sunstrike can definitely catch a bunch of these heroes off the mark.
This top lane.
Yeah.
The aggression that Smash be able to come out with, Gush into Gilga just stunning. I mean, that alone is a lot of damage, and throw a Sunstrike in on top of that. Disruptive, but very careful on this top lane how low they do.
Such blood.
Yeah, I'm actually quite a big fan. Like, I should have expected, honestly, from someone like Rasmus. You know, Misery, he understands what he wants to do in these things. I've seen a lot of times they're just like, oh, Kraken Shout's so good versus both heroes. I'm getting harassed. But this Gush point, it's so valuable. You just have the mana as a Tide anyway. And yeah, Wraith King, we've said like ad nauseum at this point. 2 armor at the start. You're very vulnerable to that. We see also Gilger. He's already prepping for the later stages because, you know, they've done well in that top lane, but I think they know that they're not just going to smash it. He's starting to get some stacks started for that Tidehunter.
I'd imagine on his own, Rasmus isn't under too much pressure from these two. I mean, can these two try and go on Rasmus whilst Gilga's away?
If he steps up too far, perhaps because they have good chase with the low cooldown on Wraith Fire Blastoise, and they do have a glimpse skill. Perhaps they could look to punish him. He does have a point save though. I mean, he could just skill Kraken, and he's probably just.
Exact situation. They are going to get it. Too easy for big.
They're thinking about it though. They're gonna try.
Okay.
Let's see if he does skill the Kraken. He does immediately.
Invisibility.
I like that. That's so heads up. I love that. Like just seeing him, we can just see that development happen. As mid, Killomancer, level 2 Maledict.
I mean, Tofu's coming in with the punches. Killomancer.
One more hit and he's probably dead.
Yes, he is. I mean, Tofu will die for it, but he won't mind. Yes, he gets the solo kill. At the same time, top lane, they get the job done. Rasmus and Gilga, that they're able to kill off the Wraith King, and as we saw, the Sunstrike was thrown in mid. There wasn't even a Sunstrike involved there. That was just the two heroes being able to kill Runic.
Maybe, I guess they had the Orb of Venom as soon as they went up there. 3 Anchor Smashes connecting from Rasmus. Orb of Venom, it's a pretty threatening lane up top with this Tidehunter because of that gush. I like it. Bottom.
They're going on Ace, but here we have the Cask and the Maledict down onto Uka. Ace just standing his ground. He's still got 1 charges to rely on. He's not too scared at all, and Uka, he's going to end up dying to this Maledict. Again, Tofu just... you can't underestimate this damage from that Maledict at this early stage.
Oh, and Killomancer too. He puts the ward down so he does see them at least. He'll be able to scurry away. Maybe they get the D ward now because of that. Actually, Gilger, he'll just TP toward top to help out. Make sure Rasmus keeps his farm. And he's actually going to be able to get the Ruin as well too. So Cancel does not find that to fill up his bottle. Very nice moves from Gilger.
Cancel spending that away from the lane. Storming out. Really starting to take over in that mid. Upon 30 and 12 against the 25 for 2. Gonna fall behind a little bit in levels.
Yeah, and he's doing the standard build. He's going to be doing the Bots Midas build on that Invoker, as we've seen him do many times in the past.
See, again down bottom, Tofu just pretty much single-handedly bullying Uka away from the wave. Uka falling low yet again, and how is he for regen? He's totally out of regen, Uka, so let's spend some time away. Ooh, very close there, but not quite.
He just walked up into the creep wave.
Wait, I thought he was out.
He just walked literally into melee range of the Tidehunter gunning. He was trying to keep the wave out of the tower range, but I mean, he just literally gives a free kill because of it.
I mean, Gilga dies in return, so
okay,
something
maybe worth it.
Yeah, well,
maybe.
Rasmus, he's gonna be happy. He's got level 6.
He's got a full Falcon Blade on the Tidehunter. It's coming out on the Nyx Assassin. He picks it up. So, I mean, mana regen is going to be there. He's going to be tanky. He's going to be really strong to just threaten and pressure this tower. They kept the catapult alive this whole time, too. And there it is.
Don't mind if I do.
Again, all 3 cores farming incredibly well. And I mean, looking at the levels, too, the supports are just slightly ahead, too. And we're seeing the rotations start happening now. Cancel making the first move.
Yeah, they've got to find something big with this. Ace would be a pretty perfect kill. They've got this one for sure. Arena down. Exactly what they needed here with that first move from Cancel.
He has to immediately run back to mid, though. He actually can't stay. The Sunstrike up top will be off the mark. Yeah, he has to go back mid to ensure that this tower gets defended. Already a 3k gold lead. Okay, tipping between 2 and 3k for Hellbear Smashers, just off the lanes. And there's Catapult is still alive top. They've kept it alive this entire time. They're even going to bring Ace up top. Continue sieging this. The Catapult's going to survive.
I mean, Runic
this whole time.
Got to be careful as well. Gonna need some extra TPs coming in if they do try and keep him
holding
around
the skill point. He does have his ring part.
TPing out right in front of them. What?
Was that?
What? I mean, come on. He knew that they could see him, surely.
That was...
Why is he TPing? Oh, that was pretty wild. I mean, he very dead. Very, very dead, Wraith King.
And Tofu just jukes the Rolling Thunder, and he'll survive as well. Starting to pick up pace here. Burjui starting to struggle already. Top tower is going to die to that first catapult wave. They're going to be able to make moves around the map. Rasmus is actually taking the tough lane now, the bottom lane, so that the pressure won't hurt his team at all.
Oh no, not the replay.
Oh, we're going to see it again.
Oh, no. I mean, he did get out. Oh no, okay, this was the earlier bit where they attempted for the strike combo. But that time around, that was Smashers missing their spells. They missed the Impale, they missed the...
I mean, they're clearly enjoying themselves.
Having a bit of a laugh,
Hellbear Smashers. And I mean, Stormstormer, he gets Fairy Trinket, best item you can get on the Invoker, and he's got level 8. So he's got the double Force Spirits are online. So these weak supports, this Disruptor, this Earth Spirit, even the Pango too. Like, most of these heroes are very, very vulnerable to the...
Back in action. Where are we seeing... He's going to head down towards the bottom half of the map. Very long road to the Radiance.
And also, I mean, he's heading into Misery's domain, where Misery has been dominating him from the start of the lane, and now he's going to go right back into his face. That does not seem very nice for him.
And he's still got the Ravage, of course, didn't he? Oh no, we're watching it top. I mean, was he fully behind the tree when he went for the TP, or did they clearly see him all the time? I don't know. Did he think he was hidden?
I think he thought he was. I think they clearly saw him. I think they had the angle to see him from. Yeah, like if you look at that kind of angle, I'm pretty sure they had seen. That was just weird. That was. I mean, it's gonna hurt.
I think he was just panicking. You know, he's like, "Oh my goodness, I'm gonna die." You know, he just sort of attempts for a TP out and hopes for the best, but.
Yeah, that was with vision toggled, said JJ, so they could absolutely see him. Yeah. And it's actually, at least it's fortunate that Gilgar clicked Mana Burn on him, though, so he didn't actually lose his ultimate, so he died instantly.
Yeah, that's true. That's probably a better situation. That he didn't burn the cooldown of Reincarnate.
Yeah. Dude, Gilgar's just got fluffy hats queued up. He's got one and he's got another one queued.
How many is he gonna buy?
Likes the fluffy hat.
I mean, he got 2 last game, right? He got 2 last game.
Am I missing something? Why are people buying so many fluffy hats?
I mean, it's if you think about it. Let's do a comparison. So, infused Raindrop is essentially plus 120 HP.
Well, they're making a move in, so Stormstormer.
Just a quick match later. Ravage out onto the 3 of them. Stormstormer's getting protected. They gets the Sunstrike out, but he does go down. Maledict out onto the 2 of them. Cancel and Killermancer in trouble. Tofu keeping them healed up as well with the Voodoo Restoration. Killermancer will tick down to the Maledict. They get a good angle here with the Rolling Thunder, but not quite enough damage. As now they've got to run. Bloodbright down at 2-Fix. He's going to get clipped by it as Ace is diving in. Won't continue to chase those, but R2Fix is going to be able to get out of there.
And the glimpse?
Got the control. Have they got the damage? Rasmus, and they certainly do. They'll bring him down. Runic also able to come over with the Wraith Fire Blast, and Impale from Gilgar holds back the Wraith King.
R2Fix dodged the Sunstrike as well. Runic still trying to chase here. Stun up in 2. They've got Killermancer right behind 2.
Another great stun from Gilgar, putting a stop to that chase from Killermancer and Runic. And Tofu to continue to run. Gilgar, Carapace out. 3 heroes after him here, and they will grab him. Glimpse back from a 2-Fix. Gilgar, he makes them work for it. Another great stun. But this time around, there's no escape for him as Gilgar will finally go down.
Decent punchback, at least. They stop the gold lead. They get themselves some nice experience too on their supports, which they much need. And they stop the push. So pretty decent. And now they're looking to actually continue this pressure down here. This seems a little bit ambitious. Yeah, they'll back away. Not bad. And they kill Stormstormer. So they do slow him down a little bit there with that nice ult there from Cancel.
But no, yeah. Up on this, but no, if you think about it, dude, Fluffy Hat is just more cost efficient. It's 125
but it's a slot that you don't. It's a slot though. Like Raindrop disappears and it gives you mana regen constantly.
Yeah, but health. Fluffy Hat, you're also going to be selling and getting half the money back. Costing half the price of it. So it's a 50% discount on Raindrop. Sure, you don't get any mana regen, but who cares about 0.8? And it doesn't burn through. You don't lose it. And, you know, what else has he put in his slots at the moment? He's been as slot efficient as he can for this stage of the game, you know.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I've just been seeing it so much, like these double fluff. That's really cool. Really interesting stuff going on in this Dota lately.
Mid. Keeping the pressure on here. Killermancer is going to turn. Cancel goes to the arena down. They've got the Static Storm follow-up onto the two of them. Stormer, he's in trouble. They take him down. They'll also look over towards Tofu. Tofu, can he live with this heal? He cannot. The magnetized damage from Killermancer enough to take him out. They'll glimpse back Gilga. And they go, and they set up for a third here on this defense. It looks like they may just be able to do so. Spears out from Cancel. It's Burjui. They're holding the mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, this trio right here, the triple ultimates on their team, just nicely holding every time Stormer shows. And there we go. Some space for Runic to farm. He did get pressured out of the lane, actually, though, on the Wraith King. We did see Rasmus laning toward him down bottom and does make him go back to base. But nice hold. Keeping this mid tower alive as long as possible. Now, though, I think this is where it does die. They used all their ults. Stormer, he's going to commit forward with alacrity. Very tough for them to hold this time.
Yeah. Very strong push.
Dire structures are fortified.
See how much they want to hang around here. Just say maybe just trying to slow them down a little bit. Continue to give space for Runic to catch up.
Did you read the Fluffy Hat text, by the way? Some nice alliteration going on in there.
Fine and functional foppery. Fighter. What on earth is foppery?
I have no idea.
I thought that was something rude
at first, but then I read foppery. I gotta look it up.
I'm gonna look it up right. What is it? What is foppery?
Foppery. Is it a noun? Okay, effective.
That's not a
and
word.
Excessive concern with one's clothes and experience. Appearance, sorry.
Uka. Out there by the foppery.
Foolish character or action. Interesting.
Never. They just made up that word. I think Valve paid
It's on.
off
It's. I
Oxford
just found the
Dictionary to get
definition.
that. Yeah, that. Foppery. Anyway, the river. Gilga.
Gilger.
He's on the run. Nice juke here, but he's going to be dragged back. Oh, spear off the mark. Allows Gilga to get the spike carapace off. They're going to have to drop the static
he's just
storm.
walking away.
He's fine now.
No.
Little off there with the combo. As Gilga's just toying with. They won't be able to kill him this time.
Okay. Well, that was a bit of a miss there by Cancel. Next glimpse,
he's dragged back again. Oh, this time he gets the job done. Cancel. He comes back to rectify his error from earlier. Will get the kill. Redeemed.
Definitely redeemed. A little bit of a static storm waste there from Atufix trying to get that kill. So they won't have that for the next 50 seconds. And we'll see how they split themselves up. Still looking to be a little active. It's 15-minute mark coming in. Ace.
Cancel.
Still got the ult from Cancel.
Boy, doesn't feel confident. Base bit as speedy as he is. Killermancer's able to get in and grab that bounty rune.
He looks pretty dead now, though.
He certainly does. Kill, go the way of Ace. More glory for the Bloodseeker as Ace halfway towards BKB. Side of Dewey, what have we got? Killermancer's got the veil done. Buffing up the full outpost team, and Runic is getting the space. 3k towards the relic. Slowly getting himself back in the game here.
Yeah, not too bad. As Gilger continues to just scout things out, give some information for his team. I mean, Rasmus is... I'm watching him and wondering what he's going to actually build for. Because he is unbelievably
he's got a lot of money.
farmed.
That's true. I mean, he's got the hood queued up, but he may be tempted for someone else. Oh, he's going to buy Vlad's. All right, so it's nothing crazy.
Queued up and then switched the hood, and then now he's... Okay.
I mean, Vlad's, yeah, certainly makes sense, right? You're going to have this Bloodseeker going crazy in the fights. That extra lifesteal for him is going to really allow Ace to fully commit.
Yeah.
Confident, very high HP.
It's just value. It's armor, it's damage, it's lifesteal, it's the AoE lifesteal too. And Rasmus now at this point, 1835 HP. If he gets glimpsed into static storm, like they're not going to kill him in these static storms. So he's gonna be tough for them when he does show up. Because they don't really have solutions for him besides just like kiting away from him.
No, for sure. And then anytime he's not in the static storm, heal him a significant chunk of his HP.
Yeah, and he went for the full aggro build. If you see, it's max gush. It's not your 144 build. It's 4 points in that gush. That's -7 armor and a pretty significant amount of burst. As Atufix, he'll be found, and here comes that Rasmus. Here comes that tide.
Dead Disruptor. And this is, probably so the combination of like Falcon Blade, Bracer, and Vlad's, you have pretty much the perfect amount of sort of int mana sustain, right? You're not going to have any mana problems at all now as this tide with 3 items in.
Yeah, and he one-shots range creeps with his Anchor Smash, which is really nice for the push mid. Cancel with his fresh Desolator can actually have enough damage to set up with Gilgar as also bottom.
Yeah, they're in underneath the tower. They found Stormer. Uka gets the angle for the Rolling Thunder, takes him out. Cast bounces though, going to cause trouble for the two of them as Ace takes down Kilomancer. Uka go for the TP out. Rasmus is not going to let him escape. Dropping the Ravage to stop him to take down the two of them, but now, without a doubt, they may be down 5k, but already a much better game from Burjui in comparison to what we saw in game 1, as they are getting things done.
Yeah, they're applying pressure. They're making that space for Runic, which, you know, if the Pango dies, Earth Spirit dies, whatever. That's good. They use the Ravage, they force movements down toward bottom, and they set themselves up some kills. That was really good when you are behind like this, when your ranking literally can't get involved. Stuff for them, and he's now going to be able to start getting involved as Radiance is done, and as you previously mentioned, the Veil on the Earth Spirit was done before, so his damage is going to be pretty strong inside the fights with that spell damage.
And for Cancel as well, you know, if he keeps this up, this is going to look very strong. You mentioned the good timing on the Deso and his involvement, you know, 6-1 and 2. We saw last game, he really struggled to sort of have an impact on the Void Spirit. This time round, he's fitting in very nicely.
And look at this. He's invis. They scan Stormer. He gets the pin as well.
The rest of the team is heading over. Stormer will fall before the rest of Smash can get in the area to help turn things around. Gilgar is going to open up onto Cancel as Cancel. He's out. See if the rest of Burjui can get away. They can't. Kilomancer's been ruptured. So lose the two of them. But I imagine, the plan there from Hellbear Smash is to connect a little quicker there. As losing Stormer does take away a bit of their pushing potential.
Glyph's still active, or still available for the Dire, so they'll be able to stop this push decently. And they're great. You can have them drawing down the lanes. Make sure you can get and push these lanes up as much as you can, so you only just lose a tower. They might be able to get that 20-minute outpost. They're pinging it already. This tower's going to go down. I do believe Hellbear Smashers are going to be able to get it in time.
Well, Tofu, he's got the Holy Locket complete. I mean, that, of course, that is some incredible value on these heroes. Like,
it's really, really nice. And you can just heal your teammate very nicely, too, from a distance. I love it. Stats on it are good, too, now. I mean, it's gotten a lot better. And that's the fluffy head buildup. Burjui, they've got that Radiance. Runic leading the charge.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Someone called that doctor.
I mean, you can
What does Gilgar have? Didn't he spend his gold? Oh, okay, he bought a shard on the... I was like, he was very close to Blink Dagger on this Nyx. That shard's gonna be, I mean, that'll be nice. The Vendetta with the ganks, with the Sunstrikes. Oh, baby.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Starting to go ferocious, Smashes. Burjui taking the tier 2 down at the bottom.
They can fight this if they make it.
They've still got the strong team. I don't think they're going to be able to move there this quick, though.
No,
they're smoking now. It's too late. Too late as Smashers just... They do have a solid amount of physical to take Roche down pretty quickly.
They're looking to fight anyway, maybe.
This could be difficult, fighting into the Aegis.
They just saw that sentry placed down. The Forge Spirit is hitting the sentry they just placed, so they know there's smoke there.
Dire's middle tower.
Spells, he knows they're in the trees.
He's got to be careful how he initiates. Cancel's still pretty susceptible to just getting burst down. If he does just walk in and start it, they have to get a better start rather than him.
Still very much ready to go. A big Blink Dagger on Rasmus now.
That'll be big. Now they can actually start fights on their own accord rather than just charging in with the Nyx Assassin Invis. Burjui, they're going to need this cancel BKB for him to really kick off the fights, because it's concerning for him at the moment to just walk in, as what you're saying. Starting to get quite a bit more on the map here, Smashers, as Gilgar is giving some information. He's scouting, looking for an opportunity for this Sunstrike setup. But Burjui, they're playing together. They're playing cautious.
Middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, maybe down 7k, but more sensible play here from them. Whatever they can to allow Runic continue to slowly progress his farm.
Gilger.
Try to open up here, over to the side, heading over for Storm up there with the Ravage. It's caught the three of them. They got the follow-up damage though. Uka's trying to roll his way out of it, but the Death Lord and the Maledict, Uka, he's going to take a lot of damage here from these Maledict. Cancel, comes in with the arena. Ace, he's in the midst of it. He's standing his ground. The backup's there from Gilga with the Impale onto the two of them. Ace can just stand and continue to rip through them all as he takes down Cancel, takes down Runic the once, and they're going to be able to chase him down and take him down a second time.
Wow. What a great fight. I mean, Gilger just leading the charge, and then that Blink Dagger. That really just seals the case. The Tidehunter Blink. Rasmus jumps in, gets that beautiful Ravage, and then the Vlad's lifesteal. All this little bit of lifesteal. If we just watch that, like Ace, he healed up so much. He actually was about to die, but heals up his entire HP pool because of that as well. And I guess the healing, you know, the healing from the Witch Doctor can kick into. I think he got Holy Locketed and healed up too.
Definitely, that was a painful fight for Burjui to lose. They were already, of course, behind.
Yeah.
But they managed to really sort of hold that deficit and not allow anything else to slip away. Team fight loss like that has, again, knocked them even further down. Ace,
so tough.
Getting stronger, nearly level 18.
He's an absolute beast, and it's so hard to play. You know, Wraith King, he always wants to get Radiance, as we see. He's even got a Grow Bow to make it stronger and all that, but when you're running around with Radiance versus Nyx Assassin, it's a free stun every 10 seconds. He's always able to just carapace you to do, and we see that Ravage.
I guess the four of them.
See the follow-up. I mean, Ukar bailed out too, so he left his team in a tough spot. Look at Ace dropping so low. I mean, he has the Aegis during all of it, but look at these nice heals. So he's healing up off all those skeletons and everything too.
Back in the action, Uka. Oh, he's rolling out. He's got the TP going, so we'll manage to get away. Good job he did as well, as he was bleeding out, had been ruptured.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Can't believe how tanky Nyx Assassin is. I mean, you're right. It's the fluffy hats. Dude, 1400 HP. I mean, I feel like he's just actually really, really strong for just having like a boost, it looks like.
It's allowing him to get stun after stun out. Top lane, Stormer. He's coming in with the setup onto Cancel and Killermancer. Popping the BKB so he could just stay committed onto this Mars. Cancel trying to get out with the use of this arena to hold them back. But Ace, he's in. He's running him down into the trees. Cancel. He's got very few places to hide. He's going to try for the TP out, but overbearing amount of damage there with the Maledict Death Lord means there's no escape for him. Gilga stay on top of Killermancer. So will get out. Ooh, it hits.
Not quite.
Isn't enough. 18k lead though. These core losses really hurting Burjui as they slip further and further behind.
Rasmus is an absolute beast. You know, okay, now he's also going to be able to find a counter versus those annoying silencers. He's going to get a BKB as well on the Tide. These fights just not looking to get any easier for this Tide.
Here we go. They're going to try and burst him, but they got enough though. They haven't. Oh, wait, Uka, careful. Living on the edge there. He did want to go for the TP, but of course aware that Anchor Smash was still hitting pretty hard. He has to opt to roll out of there with the Thunder, and he will make it out. Able to live another day. Meanwhile, though, Killermancer, he's certainly in a spot of bother here. So there's no moving for him. Gilga does go down. Going to be a buyback from Killermancer. Ace, he's pretty speedy. Arena's out from Cancel. And managed to trap Ace for now, but of course Ace, he's still got the BKB ready to pop if he feels under threat. He'll pop it now. Continue to push back Cancel. They burst through the Wraith King the once. Two buybacks now as that 2-fix looks to rejoin the fray as well. Death Ward rips through Runic's second life. If the Wraith King goes down for good, there's that 2-fix. And Hookah having to be cautious how close they get to Ace, as Ace more than ready to run them down if they step outside of their high ground. They won't though. They'll stay high ground and keep themselves away, but they're now down 20k, as that was a pretty painful fight. Both the Mars, Cancel, and Runic just down for 30 seconds. There's no buybacks on any of them now. It's a dieback from Killermancer, dieback from Atufix. They have very little to defend against this.
They can't focus fire any of these targets. Like Ace, he's too fast to really focus, and now he's getting too strong, so he can just turn and fight. I mean, Rasmus he parks himself every single time in the perfect spot. He absorbs so much damage there every single time in the right places, and I love his item build. I mean, it all worked out. The Falcon Blade was great for him to be able to continue pressure, and this Vlad's just has been enabling Ace so much and his team.
Gilga.
And look at this Gilger already.
Oh, he's on the hunt, and he's found an opening. Uka's out.
Oh, the cast bounce.
3K down. I mean, this game, you go back 10 minutes ago, and Burjui were doing it, as you can see on the graph, it was a very sort of steady increase from Hellbear Smashes. It was not getting anywhere near out of control as it did as early as it did in game 1 for Burjui. But now it's really kicked in, and we're sort of back to a very similar spot in terms of the trajectory this lead Hellbear Smashers has, as they did in game 1, as Burjui are very far behind.
And they still don't even have the BKBs. Both Runic as well as Cancel not quite finishing it. They're trying to make a move on top, Gilger.
Trying to take him out. The stun to hold back Runic, and Runic caught by the spike carapace. Runic, he's dead the once. Cancel's popped the arena, but with the BKB up on Ace, Ace just turns, fights into the face of Cancel. Rasmus comes over with the Ravage onto a 2-fix. It's 3 dead. Make that 4 with Runic about to go down a second time. Uka, the last one left alive. Very little he can do here. He's trying to find something out of this, but he's not going to be able to find anything at all, as he's just got to try and do his best to get out. He's rolling around, doing his best, but it's too much damage. Gilga even able to sidestep the swashbuckle, so even he doesn't fall here, as they lose no one, and Burjui lose everything.
A celebratory BKB, Stormer. They lead to the high ground, and there's no way for Burjui to hold clean fights and just very clean stuff again. The Hellbear Smashers, they're looking good this game, looking good this series.
Coming off. No messing around here from Smashers. 2 games and 2 very, very large victories here when it comes to difference in what teams were able to achieve, and it's been pretty much both 30-minute games. Gilga does die, messing around close to the fountain. The rest of the Smashers looking to close it. The tier 4s are down. Now on to the Ancient. Rasmus, he's ready to look for some fun. He's going in onto our 2-fix. He's able to get the kill. Commits with the BKB. Smashes him out with the Anchor Smash. The Ancient will fall. We can expect to see the GG sooner. Cancel trying to put a stop to this, but Ace is just BKBing and ending the game. He's done with this one. There's a smile there on Rasmus, as indeed this game, this series for Hellbear Smashers, a relatively simple 2-0 for them, as they certainly did show that they were on another level compared to Burjui.
Yeah, big fan of the drafting style that they set up in both games, and just